विनायक स्वामी की जय, जगतगुरु दत्तात्रेय स्वामी की जय, श्री विष्णु भगवान हरि पांडुरंग, श्री विष्णु भगवान, श्री कृष्ण श्री राम जय पांडुरंग, श्री कृष्ण श्री राम कलि मन नाशक जय पांडुरंग, कलियुग भरता हरि पांडुरंग, श्री विष्णु प्रेमयोगनुत पांडुरंग, रामकृष्ण गोविंद हरि पांडुरंग, रामकृष्ण गोविंद, नाद ब्रह्म प्रभु वेदोद्धारक पांडुरंग, श्री विष्णु हरि पांडुरंग, सत्य सनातन पांडुरंग, सत्य सनातन नित्य निरामय हरि पांडुरंग, भक्तवत्सल हरि हरि पांडुरंग, मुक्ति प्रदायक जय पांडुरंग, श्री हरि पांडुरंग, श्री कृष्ण श्री राम जय पांडुरंग, नासाश्रम स्थित हरि पांडुरंग, नास केशवरुत जय पांडुरंग, हरि पांडुरंग, श्री कृष्ण श्री राम जय पांडुरंग, हरि पांडुरंग जय पांडुरंग, विठ्ठल विठ्ठल जय विठ्ठल विठ्ठल विठ्ठल, जय गुरु विठ्ठल जय हरि विठ्ठल रामदेव विठ्ठल रामदेव, एकनाथ विठ्ठल तुकाराम विठ्ठल जय जय विठ्ठल 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 विठ्ठल, पंढरी राम भगवान की जय. On Sri Krishna with Jnana Mudra, the wisdom symbol, who continues and showers the grace of wisdom to the entire humanity through Arjuna, his great disciple. And that is the continuity of the 6th chapter, the yoga of meditation or dhyana yoga. Tam vidyat dukkha sanyoga yogam yoga samnitam na nischayena yuktam yogo nirv- That state called yoga, which is free from the contact of pain in the form of transmigration, should be known. Nay, this yoga should be resolutely practiced with an unwearied mind. Sankalpa prabhavan kamam styaktva sarvanasheshatah manasai vendriya gramam viniyamya samantatah shanaihi shanairuparamid buddhya dhriti grihitva na kinchidapi chintayet. Completely giving up all desires arising from thoughts of the world and fully restraining the senses from all sides by the mind, he should, through gradual practice, attain tranquility. And having established the mind in God, through reason controlled by steadfastness, he should not think of anything else. Yato yato nischarati manaschanchalamasstiram ततस्ततो नियम्ये तदात्मन्येव वशं नयेत्. प्रशान्तमनसंहिरं योगिनं सुखमुत्तमम् उपैति शान्तरजसं ब्रह्मभूतमकल्मषम्. युञ्जन्नेवं सदात्मानं योगी विगतकल्मषः सुखेन ब्रह्मसंस्पर्शम् अत्यन्तं सुखमश्नुते. Restraining the restless and wandering tendency of the mind from all those objects after which it runs, he should repeatedly concentrate it on God. For to the yogi, whose mind is subdued and who is identified with Brahman, supreme happiness comes as a matter of course. This joy, this ambrosia, this nectar that flows all over his body, spiritual, astral and physical, is so wonderfully discussed in the song Abhanga of Sant Tukaram. Brahmarasa Godi Dayasi Pavali Dayasi Pavali Brahmarasa Godi Dayasi Pavali Vasana Dimani Sakala Jati Brahmarasa Godi Dayasi Pavali Nahitya Vital Akhanda Sovani Nahitya Vital Akhanda Sovani Upadhi Vegani Jnani Veta Manahe Nischala Sale Yeki Thai Words fail in describing that ineffable peace and unalloyed joy of the great yogi. So the Bhagavad Gita continues in explaining the joy of that sinless yogi who has thus uniting his self constantly with Brahman, easily enjoys the eternal. Sarva bhutastamatmanam sarva bhutani chatmani ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshana yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvancha mai pashyati tasyaham na pranashyami sajame na pranashyati. The yogi who is united in identity with the all-pervading infinite consciousness and looks on all with an equal eye, sees the self beings existing in the self. Here comes another key word of the Gita, of the highest realization, that he who sees me, the universal self, present in all the beings, and sees all beings existing in me, I am never out of sight of him, nor is he ever out of sight of me. This is the key word, one of the key words of the Gita, which explains of a man who is established in God. He sees God, God and God. Sarva bhuta sthitam yomam bhajatyekatvamastinah sarvatha vartamanopi sayogi mai vartate. Atma upamyena sarvatra samam pashyati Arjuna sukham va yadi va dukkham sayogi paramo mataha. He who established in unity worships me as residing in all beings as their very self. That yogi, though engaged in all forms of activities, dwells in me and me alone, all as one, on the analogy of his own self, and looks upon the pleasure and pain of all with a similar eye. Such a yogi is regarded by me as supreme. In this context, We know Sadashiva, Brahmendra, Tukaram, Janabai, Kanu Patra, Mirabai and other great saints absorbed in Brahman to awaken this Brahmi consciousness in people, the songs containing the ecstatic power. Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Yadava Keshava Krishna Murari Muralidhara Govardhana Dhari Gopi Madhava Sarupinari Chandala Jartita Sundara Hasa Sundara Mukunda Veera Indiradhava Murali Bhusha Sundari Radha Hriday Ullasa Arjuna uvacha yoyam yogastvaya proktah samyena madhusudana yetasyaham na pashyami chanchalatva stitim stiram chanchalam hi mana krishna pravati balavadhradam tasyaham nigraham manni vayuriva sudushkaram. Arjuna said, Krishna, this yoga in the form of equanimity which we have just now taught, owing to restlessness of mind, I do not perceive its stability, turbulent, tenacious and powerful. Therefore, I consider it as difficult to control. Wind could be conditioned, but not this mind. Krishna said, Sri Bhagavan Vacha, Asamshayam Mahabahu, Manodurtim Graham Chalam. Sri Bhagavan said, the mind is without doubt unsteady and difficult to curb, Arjuna, but it can be controlled through practice of meditation and cultivation of dispassion, known as Vairagya. In this context, Sri Purandaradasa teaches, Vishaya vichara bedu vihita karma vamad. Vishaya vichara bedu vihita karma vamad. Vairagya Guru Sarvabhauma ki jai. Thus the mind should be brought under control through daily practice of meditation and cultivation of dispassion, which comes through discriminating and distinguishing real from the unreal. Yoga is difficult of achievement for one whose mind is not subdued. Asammayatmanatmanam yogo dushprapa iti me mati. Asayyatatmana yogo dushprapa iti me mati. Vashyatmana tu yatata shakno avaptu dhupayataha. By him, however, who has the mind under control and is ceaselessly striving, it can be easily attained through the practice of yoga. Such is my conviction. Arjuna says, Krishna, wait a moment. I have another important question. Ayatihi shraddhayopeto yoga chalitamanasaha aprapya yoga samsiddhim kam gatim Krishna gacchati. Arjuna said, Krishna, he who though endowed with faith has not been able to subdue his passions and whose mind is therefore diverted from yoga at the time of death, failing to achieve perfection in yoga in this life, what fate does he meet with? Again, Kachinno bhaya vibhrashta chinnabhramiva nashyati apratishto mahabaho vimudho brahmanapati. Krishna, deluded in the path of God and without anything to stand upon, does he not perish like the torn cloud, deprived of both God realization and worldly enjoyment? And again, Yetanme samshayam Krishna chettumarham asheshataha tvadanyaha samshayasyasya chettana vipapadyate. Krishna, it behoves you to dispel this doubt of mine completely, for none other than yourself can be found who can clear this doubt. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Partha Naimeha Namutra Vinashastasya Vidyate Nahi Kalyana Krat Kaschit Durgatim Tata Gacchati Prapya Punya Kratam Lokam Ushitva Shashvati Samaha Suchinam Srimatam Gehe Yoga Brishto Vijayate Athava Yoginameva Kule Bhavati Dhimatam Yetadhi Durlabataram Loke Janma Yadi Drasham. Sri Bhagavan said, now you could see how the doctrine of reincarnation is explained here. Dear Arjuna, there is no fall for him either here or hereafter. For none who works for self-redemption or God realization meets with an evil destiny here or hereafter. He who has fallen from yoga, having obtained the higher worlds, paradise, etc., to which men of meritorious deeds alone are entitled, and having resided there for countless years, again takes his birth in the house of the pious and wealthy men. Athava yoginam eva kule bhavati dhimatam yetadhi durlabhataram loke janma yadidrasham. Or if he has developed some dispassion and detachment in the last life, he may be born in the family of enlightened yogis. But this kind of birth is very difficult to obtain in this world. Tatram tam buddhi sanyogam labate paurvadehikam yadate cha tato bhuyaha samsiddhav kurunandana purvabhyasena tenaiva hriyate havashopi saha jijnasurapi yogasya shabda brahmadi vartate. Arjuna, there he regains the understanding of his previous birth. The latencies of the yoga of even-mindedness are aroused in him, and through that he strives with greater vigor than before in this life for perfection in the form of God realization. The one who takes birth in a rich family, though subject to the senses, feels drawn towards God by force of this prenatal habit. And the seeker of the yoga of equanimity also transcends the fruit of actions performed with some motive as laid down in the Vedas. Prayatnadyatamastu yogi samshuddha kilbisha aneka janma samsiddha stato yati param gatim tapasvibhyodiko yogi jnanibhyo vimatodhikaha karmibhyaschadhiko yogi tasmat yogi. The yogi, however, who diligently takes up the practice, attaining perfection in this very life through the help of latencies of many births and being thoroughly purged of sin, forthwith reaches the supreme state. Arjuna, the yogi is superior to the ascetics. He is deemed superior even to those versed in sacred lore. The yogi is superior even to those who perform action with some motive. Therefore, Arjuna, do you become a yogi? Yoginam api sarvesham madgatena antaratmanam shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yuktatamo mataha. Even among all yogis, he who devoutly worships me with his mind focused on me is considered by me to be the best yogi. Om Tat Saditi Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Sri Krishnarjuna Samvade Atma Sanyama Yogo Nama Shashtodhyayah. Thus in the Upanishad, sung by the Lord, the science of Brahman, the scripture on yoga, the dialogue between Sri Krishna and Arjuna ends the 6th chapter entitled The Yoga of Self-Control. Now we continue after a bhajan, the holy 7th chapter entitled Jnana Vijnana Yoga, the yoga of the manifested and unmanifested divinity. Madhusudana Murari Murari Madhusudana Murari Madhusudana Murari Murari Madhusudana Murari Govardhana Giridhare Murari Govardhana Giridhare Murari Madhusudana Murari Murari Madhusudana Murari Bala Gopala Murali Lola Bala Gopala Murali Lola Ashrita Janapati Pala Pala Ashrita Janapati Pala Pala Murari Madhusudana Jamuna Vihari Kamsa Samhari Jamuna Vihari Kamsa Samhari Leela Natak Shauri Murari Leela Natak Shauri Murari 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 Kaliya Ramana Rukmini Ramana Kaliya Ramana Sajjana Sanuta Charana Murari Madhusudana Murari Madhusudana Asura Vesha Nadola Asura Asura Vesha Nadola Sant Keshvadas Teaches Murari Sant Keshvadas Teaches Murari Madhusudana 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 Murari Madhusudana Yogeshwara Shri Krishna Bhagavan ki Jai. Shri Bhagavan Vach Mayasakt Manapartha Yogam Yunjan Madashraya Asamshayam Samagram Mam Yatanyasya Tachranu. Shri Bhagavan said, Arjuna, now listen how with the mind attached to me through exclusive devotion and practicing yoga with complete dependence on me, you will know me, the repository of all power and glory, the soul of all, in full and freed from all doubts. Jnanam te aham savijnanam idam vaksham yasheshatah yajnatva neha bhuyonyat jnatavya vashishyate. I shall unfold to you in its entirety this wisdom along with the real knowledge of manifest divinity, having known which nothing else remains still to be known in this world. Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschit yatati siddhaye yatataamapi siddhanam kaschin mam vidya tattvashah. Of thousands of men who rare, some rare soul strives to realize me. Out of thousands, just a few alone strive to realize me. Of those striving yogis again, some rare one, devoting himself exclusively to me, knows me in reality. Bhumir apo nalo vayuh kham mano buddhirevacha ahankara iti yammi bhinna prakritirashtadha apareyam itastvanyam prakritim vidhi me param jiva bhutam mahabaho yayedam dharyate jagat yetadyonini bhutani sarvani tyupadaraya aham krishnasya jagatah prabhavah pralayastata. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind and reason, and also the ego, these constitute my Prakriti, the primordial energy, eightfold divided. This is my insentient lower nature. Other than this, by which the whole universe is sustained, know it as my higher or sentient nature in the form of life principle and all the souls. Arjuna, know that all beings have evolved from this twofold Prakriti, and that I am the source of the entire creation, and in me again it dissolves. Mattaha parataram nanyati kinchidasti dhananjaya mai sarvamidam prodam sutre maniganaiva. This is again another keyword of the Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna, there is nothing else besides me. Like clusters of yarn beads formed by knots on a thread, all this is threaded on me. Worlds and souls are like the pearls or beads, and God is the thread, the vinculum substantial, the uniting factor. Rasoham apsu kaunteya prabhasme shashi suryayoh pranavah sarva vedeshu shabdah khe ausham. Arjuna, I am the sapidity in water and the light of the moon and the sun. I am the sacred syllable Om in all the Vedas, sound in ether and manliness in men. God is the quintessence of everything. Punyo gandha prathivyam cha tejaschasti vibhavasau jivanam sarva bhuteshu tapaschasme tapasvishu. I am pure order, the subtle principle of order in the earth and pure brilliance in fire. I am life in all beings and austerity in ascetics. Another key word of the Gita is sung here. Bijam mam sarva bhutanam vidhi partha sanatanam buddhir buddhim vatamasmi tejas tejosmi nama balam balavatam chaham kamaraga vivarchitam balam balavatam chaham kamaraga vivarchitam dharma aviruddho bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshava. Arjuna, know me as the eternal seed of all beings. I am the intelligence of the intelligent, the glory of the glorious I am. Arjuna, I am the might of the mighty. Therefore I am almighty, free from passion and desire. In beings, I am the sexual desire, not in conflict with virtue or scriptural injunction. Ye chaiva satvika bhava rajasastamasa matta ye vetitan vidhi natvaham teshu me vayi tribhir gunamayair bhavairevhi sarvamidam jagat Mohidam na vijanati mamebhya paramavyayam. Whatever other entities there are born of sattva, the quality of goodness, and those that are born of rajas, the principle of activity, and tamas, the principle of inertia, know them all has evolved from me alone. In reality, however, neither I exist in them nor they in me, which means God is beyond the three gunas. The whole of this creation is deluded by objects evolved from the three modes of nature, sattva, rajas and tamas. Hence, it does not know me who am above those and imperishable. In this context, Tukaram sings about the primeval seed, God, the primal seed, the indestructible seed of the entire creation. This whole creation, cosmos, is nothing but a tree, cosmic tree, evergreen, evolved from the indestructible seed that is God. Adi bija ek, Adi bija ek, Adi bija ek, Adi bija ek, bija ankurale rupad, bija ankurale rupad, Adi bija ek. कोटि तरु कोटि कोटि जन्म घेती सुमने पड़े जन्म घेती सुमने कोटि जन्म घेती सुमने पड़े आदि बीज एक आदि बीज एक आदि बीज एक आदि बीज एक व्यापुनी जगता तुझी अनंत व्यापुनी जगता तुझी अनंत बहुविध रूप यसी परिअंति ब्रह्म एक यसी परिअंति ब्रह्म एक आदि बीज एक आदि बीज एक जय मान हरि जय मान Now the Lord explains that even this Maya, the Triguna, the three modes of the nature, in its higher nature is nothing but God as mother. Daivi Hesha Gunamai Mama Maya Durudhyaya Mami Vai Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite Namam Dushkritiro Mudhaha प्रपद्यन्ते नराधमाः माययापहृतज्ञाना आसुरं भावमाश्रिताः. For this wonderful illusion of mind called Maya, consisting of three gunas, modes of the nature, is extremely difficult to get over. Those, however, who take refuge in me alone can go across. Those who have their wisdom carried away by nescience and who have embraced the demoniac nature, such foolish and wretched men of evil deeds do not worship me. The Lord discusses now the four types of His true devotees. चतुर्विधा भजन्ते मां जनाः सुकृतिनो अर्जुना आर्तो जिज्ञासुरर्थार्थी ज्ञानी च भरतर्षभ तेषां ज्ञानी नित्ययुक्त एकभक्तिर्विशिष्यते प्रियो हि ज्ञानिनोत्यर्थम् अहं स च मम प्रियः. Arjuna, four types of virtuous men and women worship me. The seeker of worldly objects, the sufferer, the seeker for knowledge, and the man of wisdom. So the afflicted, inquisitive, one who is after prosperity, and a man of wisdom. These are the four categories Krishna discusses. Out of whom, of these the best is the man of knowledge, constantly established in identity with me and possessed of exclusive devotion. For extremely dear am I to the wise man who knows me in reality, and he is extremely dear to me. Udaraha sarva evaite jnani tvatma eva me matam astitaha sahi yuktatma mamevānuttamam gatim bahūnām janmanāmante jnānavān mam prapadyate vāsudevah sarvamitihi samahatma durlabhah. All these are noble, but the man of wisdom is verily my own self. This is my view for this devotee, who has his mind and intellect merged in me, is firmly established in me, the highest goal. Again, another key word of the Bhagavad Gita is sung here, which the Lord says in the very last of all verse. The man of realization worships me. In the very last of all the verse, the man of realization worships me, realizing that all this is God. Such a great soul is very rare. This is Vasudevaha Sarvamiti Samahatma Sudurlavaha. As the holy name Vasudeva came now, let us feel that Vasudeva, the indwelling spirit in everything. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Devadevaya Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Madhusudana Dhruva Varada Shri Hariva Yadupunatilaki Madhavarama Hradaya Mandirani Odagi Porayurari Sadananda Sachidananda Maya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Devadevaya Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Madhava Mukunda Muralidharava Yadava Sundara Chandrakashava Sridhara Sadhu Susevita Padayuga Adipurusha Narayana. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Devadevaya Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Shankachandrakala Padmadhari Pankaj Bhushan Navitama Shankara Sevita Kinkara Santa Venkataramana Madhani Pati. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Devadevaya Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Vasudevaya Vasudevaya. Vasudeva Bhagavan ki jai. Kamaistaistairhata jnanaha prapadyanti anyadevataha tam tam niyamamastaya prakrutya niyataha swaya. Those whose wisdom has been carried away by various desires, being bound by their own nature, worship other gods, undertaking vows relating to each. Yo yo yam yam tanum bhaktah shraddhaya archito vichati tasya tasyachalam shraddham tameva vidadamyaham sataya shraddhaya yuktas tasya aradhana mihate labate cha tadak kaman mayyeva vihitan hitan. Whatever celestial form a devotee craving for some worldly object also seeks to worship with faith, I stabilize the faith of that particular devotee in that very form. Endowed with such faith, he worships that deity and obtains through him, without doubt, his desired enjoyment as ordained by me. Antavattu phalam tesham tad bhavatyalpamedhasam devan deva yajo yanti madbhakta yanti mamapi. The fruit gained by these people of meager intelligence, however, is perishable. The worshippers of gods attain the gods, the angels, whereas my devotees, howsoever they may adore me, in the end attain me alone. Avyaktam vyaktimapannam manyante mama buddhaya param bhava majanantu mavavya anuttamam mavavya anuttamam mavavya anuttamam. Not knowing my unsurpassable and undecaying supreme nature, the unintelligent think of me, the Supreme Spirit beyond the reach of mind and senses, the embodiment of truth, knowledge and bliss, to have assumed a visible human form. Naham prakashah sarvasya yoga maya samavrataha mudhoyam nabhijanati loko mam ajam avyayam. Vedaham samatitani vartamanapi charjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu vedana kachana. Veiled by my yoga maya, I am not manifest to all, hence these ignorant folk do not recognize me as the unborn and imperishable Supreme Spirit. Arjuna, I know all beings past as well as present, nay, even those that are yet to come, but none devoid of faith and reverence knows me. Ichchadvesha samutthena dvandva mohena bharata sarvabhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punyakarmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajanti mam dhadavrataha. Arjuna, in this world, through the delusion of pairs of opposites, born of desire and hatred, all beings are being enveloped in utter ignorance. But those men of virtuous deeds, whose sins have come to an end, being freed from delusion in the shape of pairs of opposites, worship me with a firm resolve everywhere. Jara marana mokshaya mama shritye tantite mama shritye tantite te brahma tadviddu krishna madhyatmam karma shakhilam sadi bhutadi daivam mam sadi yajnam cha ye viduh prayana kale vijamam te vidur yukta chetasa. They who having taken refuge in me strive for deliverance from old age and death, know Brahman and the entire field of karma, as well as my integral being comprising Adibhuta, Adidaiva and Adiyajna, dwelling in the heart of all beings as their witness consciousness. And they who possessed of a steadfast mind know me even at the hour of death. They also know me and attain me. Om Tat Saditi Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishatsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Chapter Sri Krishna Arjuna Samvadi Jnana Vijnana Yoga Rama Saptamudhyaya. Thus in the Upanishad, sung by the Lord, the science of Brahman, the scripture on yoga, the dialogue between Sri Krishna and Arjuna, ends the 7th chapter entitled The Yoga of Knowledge of Nirguna Brahma and the Knowledge of Saguna Brahma, the Manifest Divinity. God bless all.